Wow, great video. How money works. Yeah, like this is why video games fail, right? You have these managers that never really made a video game or develop a video game. They go like, "Ah, yeah, let's make a triple A video game." Kids love triple A video games. I saw, yeah, my son, he's turned 33 years old right now. He said he loves Grand Theft Auto. Let's make our own Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, what's their budget? 200 million. We'll use $300 million, and that means our game will be better because we use more money. That's right. You'll be surprised by how more money does not mean better game. More money, majority of the time, is shittier game. You make a shittier game, the more money you put into it because you have a giant team and you had to go through a bunch of bullshit. You had to talk to the HR to get this character approved in this video game. It's so stupid, like how slow it is. So it totally makes sense why a game with a high budget will fail because it's just garbage, constant garbage left and right because you want the game to, I don't know, supersede Grand Theft Auto or something by throwing more money at it. I mean, we could also see this in politics, right? Throwing more money like into some other war that has nothing to do with us will not make things better for us. There's no benefit to humanitarian aid for us. It just makes things worse for us because we lost money and to fund the war essentially. That honestly brings us nothing. There's like all these wars don't really give us much. Well, that's just how shit is. Like people just want to throw money at the problem, and also, I think this generation is being taken advantage of because of how smart companies are. Like in terms of mobile gaming, like how smart companies are. Like they know how to alter the scaling system in the video game to make young people pay for video games. Actually, you know what? I know people like from the early 2010s that are paying like $3,000 to $5,000 on their mobile game already. So I guess it's not just like a one generation thing. Like it affects everyone. It does affect everyone. But then like I feel like now you should know better. Like these mobile games are generally a scam, and when people are constantly having bad experiences in video games, like in mobile games, and these poorly produced games with high budgets are also dog shit as well, people start to get turned off from gaming, right? That's why like how money is works would say people just stick to like 1 to 2 video games. You just stick to FIFA and old school RuneScape. I stick to Counter-Strike and League of Legends. You don't spend money on those. It's just how it is. I just stick to those two, generally speaking, and I don't even play them anymore. Last time I played those games was like last week, so it totally makes sense. Like all the shitification not only affects video games, but it also affects fast food. It's there's just no end to it. Everything is turning to trash. Trash.
Depending on what you actually count as a video game, the industry is now generating somewhere between $200 and $350 billion a year in annual revenue, making it
That's
by
not
far
bad.
the largest entertainment sector in the world, regardless of whatever your exact definitions may be. More people are playing video games than ever before. They are playing them for longer, and the not-so-secret reality is that video game companies
That's a
have
shocker.
gotten a lot better
Actually,
at getting money out of them while they are. The vast
that's a shocker.
majority of revenue in this industry.
That's actually fascinating. Is he talking about competitive gaming? Because if it's competitive game, yeah, that did went up because of the popularization of competitive video games, right? Fortnite. Oh my God! Look at the chart. Do you know how to read charts? It means more people are playing games. Full game sales, in-game. Oh my God, DLC and MTX. Subscription. Oh, so this is like battle passes. Oh, so you see the battle pass model works. It absolutely does. You want to hate Fortnite for having battle pass, but there's a good reason why the battle pass model is the highest paying model and why they're doing it.
now comes from in-game purchases and advertising, even amongst games that already have an upfront purchase cost or a recurring subscription. Now obviously this hasn't been great for gamers, but at least a growing user base of people playing longer, spending more, and getting advertised to all across more
What
platforms
the
has been good for
hell?
the shareholders, right?
Homelander?
Wrong.
This is a kid's
Some
game.
of the largest companies in the industry have experienced huge stock declines, multiple rounds of restructuring, narrowly avoided bankruptcy, mass layoffs, and divestitures. Over what should have been the best half-decade in the history of the industry, the overall market is down by as much as 30% from its peak.
I mean, only recently. It only started dropping recently.
So, how is it possible that even with record sales, record new revenue streams, record numbers of new players, and record new opportunities to monetize that new audience, video game companies have still managed to screw this up so badly?
Video game maker Electronic Arts announcing a $55 billion deal to go private in what is set to be the largest.
If I had to guess, the quality of the game drops.
More than 150 million Americans are estimated to play video games.
And people are growing out of these
Xbox is playing with fire,
in-game
putting
purchases.
ads, a mobile gaming tactic, into their platform.
Electronic Arts.
Actually, then again, like their revenue is still high, so that means people are still buying in.
From what's called microtransactions.
Microsoft announcing it is cutting about 4,800 jobs, or roughly 2.1% of the company's global workforce. The layoffs include 1,600 Xbox workers, with more expected later this year.
Oh, this is about Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft didn't get to cash in on this. What do they have? They could have used Destiny 2, but no, they rather do what Marathon. Who the fuck cares about Marathon? It's a trash game.
Oh, like every good shameless business video essayist, I am going to try and make what should be a pretty basic industry analysis into something bigger and more grandiose than it probably actually is, including the standard issue commentary on society itself. So, you've been warned, I guess.
Aww.
But in this case, there genuinely are a few factors beyond just a handful of companies making a long list of dumb decisions to create the worst of times in what should be the best of times. So, the logical place to start is that long list of dumb decisions. Video game companies have seen that their product involves software, people coding, and development cycles, and concluded that they are basically just tech companies. They have also seen that they have IP, storylines, and fans, and have concluded that they are media companies. Conveniently, tech companies are worth lots of money. So, a lot of the businesses in this space were happy to go in this direction thinking it would translate into tech-level valuations, and for a while, it did. But in the end, what they actually ended up doing was combining the worst lessons of the tech industry with the worst lessons of the media industry. The first was that they overhired in 2020 and 2021 during lockdowns.
Yeah, they kind of overhired, but I think it kind of makes sense, right? You have a lot of demand to meet. So I think that overhiring kind of makes sense.
Assuming that the pandemic boom in new gamers would go on forever. Examples like Epic Games swelled
You
to
just
around
fired them
5,000
after you're
employees
done with
along the
them.
way. This led to the current wave of layoffs, especially since layoffs are contagious in tech. Nobody's stock gets punished for cutting staff in the same quarter that everybody else is cutting staff. Industry trackers count around 45,000 gaming jobs cut between 2022 and the middle of last year, 14,600 of them in 2024 alone, and the rounds have kept coming through this year. The second problem with trying to emulate tech companies was the obsession with making acquisitions. Microsoft in particular has gone on a massive spending spree acquiring studios to create the Netflix of gaming. They spent $7.5 billion for ZeniMax and then $68.7 billion for Activision Blizzard, the largest acquisition in the history of the industry, alongside a bunch of smaller studios to build out their Game Pass offering.
And they failed. They bought all these game studios and they did nothing with them. Nothing. They fucked it into the wind. It's all bad management. Like they thought that we'll buy these gaming studios and then we will have these super successful video games and we'll print money. No, you need to manage it. You need to fucking manage it, and you need to have the original kings, like the original game makers, to be in there. Because if you just replace those professionals with garbage employees, then it's just gonna be a garbage studio. Doesn't matter. You're just buying it for the name, right, or for the price tag. You're not really buying it for the skill set.
Now, even regular streaming services outside of Netflix have struggled with financial
viability. So this video is more about Microsoft.
The same kind of model applied to video games struggled particularly hard for reasons we will get into soon. The point for now is that by the time this shopping spree wrapped up, Microsoft's gaming division alone stood at 22,000 people. As they started struggling with returns and questions from their corporate overlords, they also followed the same model of product and shitification, especially amongst games with a locked-in audience. Game Pass Ultimate got a 50% price hike in a single announcement late last year, and Xbox itself has now announced 3 separate console price rises in 15 months,
Oh
which
my
I am
god.
told will be devastating for the 3 people still looking to buy one. Beyond just Microsoft, the whole industry is playing a game of eat or be eaten, with 189 M&A deals in the industry in 2025
That's so
alone,
dumb.
according to the
Once you
investment
lose your
bank
customer,
Brickstar,
it's
worth a
you don't
record
get them back
$161
generally.
billion, around 14 times the deal value of the year before. To be fair, this was pushed up considerably by the $55 billion Electronic Arts buyout led by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which is the largest all-cash leverage buyout ever recorded in any industry. Assuming regulators actually let it close, which, well, they probably will. More acquisitions have also furthered the trend of layoffs, as a lot of the time, these companies are just interested in the IP, not the development teams themselves. Embracer Group, an investment and holding company, rolled up more than 130 studios before their money ran out. The resulting unwind involved cutting around 4,500 employees and closing 44 studios. Around 80 projects just got canceled outright, while the
Wow.
surviving franchises got packaged into a new company for a fresh stock listing. In such a rapidly growing space, they assumed the Silicon Valley spend money and they will come mindset would work here as well. In hindsight, it clearly hasn't worked out. But, well, why were they wrong? Well, a few reasons. The first is that a lot of gamers aren't actually gamers. They are just people who happen to play a video game, which might sound like the world's sweatiest gatekeeping, but I am certainly in this category as well. In the early 2000s, gaming was still a fairly niche hobby, particularly focused on younger people, primarily men, on gaming consoles, and an even more niche group that played on their PCs.
Yeah, I know people that only play like Overwatch or only play Marathon. People don't really touch, or like they only play mobile games. They don't really touch any other games beyond that. It's actually insane how people are very unwilling to exit out of their out of the platform that they use for video game entertainment. They just stick to that one thing. And oh man, Xbox really fucked it up. I mean, or Microsoft fucked it up. They deterred everyone with their shitty Game Pass, and now all those customers are not gonna come back. Like, what the fuck? Would you go back to a business that gave you a shitty service? Generally, no, because after a bad experience, customers will never return.
In this time, online gaming was still in its infancy, and most people had a drawer full of titles they would play through depending on what they felt like. The primary content of these games was a campaign or a simple gameplay loop. That
Good game.
has obviously changed.
That game was really good.
Over the past 20 years, even though the number of titles and players kept going up, the number of games people actually spend their time in went down. While making this video, I looked back through my old binder, and there were at least 20 games that I would play on any given year in rotation. Today, I play 2 games, and while I would like to make an excuse like I am getting old and just have more responsibility these days, the truth is I probably spend longer playing these games in any given week than I did playing all of these. Beyond the personal
I mean,
anecdote-
yeah, well, the amount of content, I don't know about FIFA, that's a pretty dog shit game, but the amount of content in old school RuneScape is so much content. Like, you'll never run out of content unless you give up your life. If you give up your life, you will have infinite content basically on RuneScape. And with like these games like Kingdom Hearts or Halo, like these campaign games, there's a limitation to how much entertainment you get, right? And I think it's pretty worth it, even though if it's like 12 hours of entertainment, 20 hours or 30 hours, I think it's worth it. Like if you spend like $30 on a 30-hour entertainment game, that's like $1 an hour for entertainment. I think that's pretty worth it. And it's just designed to have X amount of time for entertainment, and it totally makes sense.
This is a documented
You can
trend
see
across
why
the wider
why
industry.
companies
Unlike other
rather
media like music
make
or
competitive
movies, people
games
can
because
commit
people
far,
will
far
spend
more
more
time
money
consuming a video game.
in
And live
in-game
service
purchases.
games and a multiplayer focus can extend that time commitment to basically infinite.
Ooh, wow.
The only real limitation is the number of hours people have in a day, and an increasing share of those hours
True.
are being spent on forever games. Despite recent trends and understandable complaints, video gaming is still
RuneScape's
largely
one
a
of
very
them.
cost-effective form of entertainment. But the limit new games are running into is not that their customers are running out of money to spend, it's that they are running out of time to spend, as most of their
Yeah.
hours are already accounted for. According to Newzoo's playtime tracking, in 2024, 57% of total playtime was spent on games 6 or more years old, a further 32% on games 1 to 5 years old, and only 12% on games released that year. Back in 2021, those older games were only taking 39% of playtime.
Let me see. Let me read this chart. Okay, the playtime. Call of Duty 6+ years, Fortnite remain the most played game. Total years by age, title. Oh wow. Okay, 5 years. New releases. Yeah, I mean, also people become adults eventually, right? Like these Fortnite games or whatever, they're kids. They're essentially kids, but then they become high school kids, right? And a lot of people actually mature during their high school phase. They might talk a lot of shit and curse a lot and be obnoxious when they're middle schoolers, but dude, by the time that people turn to high school, they all mature. All my friends did, or well, not all, but a good chunk of my friends matured in high school, and they all definitely matured in college. Like I think my friends are all just like gone. Like they're so gone out of the gaming space. My friend gave up his Steam profile, just like deleted it completely, and now he's married and he's way more happier, guaranteed.
That share has climbed 18.
Even me personally, well, I still play video games, but then like I think I keep it like I don't know, like 2 hours every 3 days. I don't play video games that much anymore because I much rather go out and spend time with people.
Points in 3 years. For PC, this trend is even more concentrated amongst older gamers, with 67% of playtime going to 6-year-old games, even though they theoretically have a wider selection of independent new releases at significantly lower prices than console
Yeah, I'm
games.
gonna play more Counter-Strike. I'm not gonna play
Example of this
Roblox.
is that one of the writers here at Works Media, not pointing any fingers, has over 10,000 hours playing League of Legends,
Oh, God.
and an otherwise totally neglected library full of Steam games. The top 5 titles on PC accounted for 30.4% of all hours on their own, and Fortnite by itself was 9.3% of all track playtime across PC and console combined.
Yeah.
So, while in theory the total addressable market is better than ever, most of these studios are actually just fighting over a shrinking pile of scraps. Industry analyst Matthew Ball estimated that
Every company wants to dip their hand in that cookie jar.
Games backed by tens of billions of dollars were competing for around 5.6% of total player hours, and 4 titles won half of it. So yeah, the industry has basically broken into studios that have managed to create a hit game and they are just milking it, and studios taking huge risks on the hope that they can produce the next one. It's just simply much harder to sell a casual $70 game these days, which has created some much more serious downstream problems. So it's time to learn how money works to find out how the gaming industry is imploding under the weight of its best years.
Yeah, I think games being $70 is justified because games are costing more to make. This is what managers think. Oh, there's a problem. We gotta make a high quality game. Throw more money at it. Throw more money. Come on. We gotta throw more money. Yeah, we throw more money, we get more money. It's that simple, guys. I mean, business and politics go together pretty well. If you look at politics and how politicians are throwing money at the problems, it doesn't really solve the problems. You have to make deals, you have to make alterations, you have to make processes, and you gotta get people to move shit. Paying people to be homeless will not solve the homeless problem. Shocker, shocker. Paying people to buy drugs will not stop their drug addiction. Shocker, shocker. Paying people to pay their rents will not get them to pay their own rent. Shocker.
This video is sponsored by Monarch. If you have ever tried about progress for Monarch games they have been playing for a decade, which has led many studios to conclude that the only logical move is to create the next big live service game or die trying. This has created a trend of massive games with limitless features put together by huge teams with enormous budgets. The problem is that if these games fail to break through, they become extremely expensive dead weights. This also means that even at full price, a lot of these titles can't make their money back on unit sales alone, so they are leaning more on in-game purchases and in-game
throw more
advertising.
money at
If
the
these
problem,
never
throw
eventuate,
more
because
money
nobody
at it.
ends up spending that much time in
So
the game,
stupid.
losses can be devastating even with
Bad
decent
management.
upfront sales. And of course, it's a lot worse without them. Sony spent 8 years and a reported
Literally, a normal gamer will make a better manager than 99% of these managers in Sony and Microsoft.
$200 million on developing Concord, their big hero shooter answer to Overwatch. It sold an estimated 25,000 copies, and the servers were switched off 2 weeks after launch with full refunds all around. Warner Brothers did the same thing with their Suicide Squad game, which missed so badly that the company disclosed a $200 million hit to earnings. And then they did it again a few months later with a $100 million write-down, mostly pinned on multiverses. Now, I know it's fun to point and laugh, but it's going to keep happening. Because of the network effect of these games, the results are increasingly polarized.
That looks good.
They are either a smash hit or a monumental failure. People want to play games with their friends, so they play the games their friends are playing. And if their friends aren't playing a given game, they probably won't either. Helldivers 2 or Marvel Rivals, or even something like Among Us and Mecha Chameleon have broken through and they are printing money from people who want something to play with their friends, but that self-reinforcing concentration means everything else is running a greater risk of becoming another Concord. But the problem is now, even if they do find a cash
This is
cow,
why I still
there's
play
an
League of
incentive to
Legends.
milk
I
it
still have
until it curdles to
a
find
few
the
friends that
next
plays
mega
it.
development. Sony paid $3.6 billion for Bungie in 2022, then tapped Destiny as hard as they could to fund the development of Marathon, and then Marathon flopped as well. Sony has now written down around $766 million on that studio in a single fiscal year. Destiny 2 got its final content update last month, and about half of Bungie has been laid off. Even the biggest winner of them all is slowing down. Fortnite engagement has been falling since 2025. Epic laid off over 1,000 people this year, saying that they were spending significantly more than they were making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. This heavy push towards live service games that dominate people's time and drive recurring spending also means that people are increasingly treating games as a social outlet. Potentially, you might even say some modern version of a third place. As such, and hot take alert, a lot of people don't really want something new. They want something familiar. Friends like to hang out in common environments.
Oh, this is why where all those remakes start popping off.
36 years old in America, that becomes even stronger. This trend of playing fewer games but playing them for much longer also explains the challenges that
Call of
came with
Duty remakes,
like
Resident Evil remakes,
theory,
Final Fantasy.
For access to a massive library of games was a great
They
deal.
are successful.
Probably more
They
cost-effective than getting a similar selection of content through something like Steam. The problem was that people were only playing a small selection of games anyway, so having access to hundreds of titles didn't really mean much when they were only actually playing 2 of them. Microsoft reportedly set itself an internal target of 77 million Game Pass subscribers by this year. Again, assuming that this was just another streaming service or tech offering, this wasn't completely unreasonable. In reality, it got to 34 million. Tried that 50% price hike from earlier to squeeze more out of the subscribers it did have, and promptly lost around 4 million of them. Now, of course, this is a generalization. Everybody spends their time differently, and if you are personally someone that likes to try a new title every month, congratulations, you are probably having a lot more fun than everybody else. But for everybody else, there is one place left to actually find extra hours in people's day: mobile. People just spend more time on their phones than sitting down at a dedicated...
No. Mobile games are the bane of humanity. If you're wasting your time playing mobile games, you need help.
PC or console to do gaming. This becomes particularly true for the filthy washed
in-game purchases up the wazoo.
Share of direct mobile game revenue is now bigger than PC and console combined.
Yep.
$103 billion last year against $86 billion for the other two.
I was dating this girl and she will not stop playing this mobile game. Like, we did see each other a few more times, but damn, man, I just want to grab her phone and send it into the horizon. It's such a shitty game too. It's like this MMORPG game that's just like super brain dead. So much graphics, and there's like you just press a thing, quest accepted, and then you press the next button, quest completed. It's so stupid. It is so mundane. There's like no story, nothing. You just press and then you make progression, and by the time you make it to like like early mid game, and you're like 2 or 3 months invested, now you have to spend money in order to progress. Or if you don't spend money and you want to be a free to play player in these mobile games, it will take decades to reach the end game. They designed the game for the scaling to skyrocket at the mid game when you're totally invested into it. These mobile games are fucking evil. Don't invest in them. Don't invest your time playing them. It's all a scam. I think mobile games are just a scam in general.
put together. Now, you probably already know
I wish they get
this,
sued.
but the point is that this can be a lot more lucrative, because mobile games are generally much simpler in design and development.
It's so crazy. She was a really cute girl, and I don't even want to deal with it
Often,
anymore.
payment can be handled through the same phone that people are playing on, which strips out the transaction friction that games on other platforms have to fight through. Again, this is well documented. But if studios are going to choose a proper game for real gamers, there needs to be a very good commercial reason why they wouldn't spend the same resources on building dozens of games for a much larger, more lucrative market. The only real justification is the chance at making the next big live services game. On the other end of the development spectrum, it's never been easier for independent studios or even individual people to create their own game, and publish it thanks to robust game engines in platforms like Steam or even Roblox. But this means that basic indie games are an incredibly crowded space with
I hate it
immense
Among Us so
competition.
much.
More than 19,000
I have these drinking friends that I still know them, but these drinking friends, like they would play this game. Oh my god, Among Us! It's like this new game. It's so fun. Oh my god, we gotta play it together. Oh, it's so awesome. And then when we play it, right? Like you're supposed to do the little objectives in the game, but these bimbos, they're drinking while playing the game. They're like, "Mom, well, how do I press the button? Blah, blah. I'm pressing the how do I'm doing it. Yeah, look, and like the fucking aliens or the monsters always win because these drunk girls that I played with just does not know how to play the damn game. It's so annoying. Like I try to coach them through it, but it's like they don't want, like they're too dumb to learn these games. So I just hate it when like a game becomes trendy. Like you have all these bimbo bitches trying to play something trendy because all the kids are doing it and it's cool and hip. It's super annoying.
games were released on Steam last year alone, and nearly half of them got fewer than 10 user reviews. To differentiate themselves, game companies have felt the need to create significantly higher-end titles that wouldn't be possible for smaller teams to put together. This has created a missing middle of games that are a cut above the indie selection in terms of features, but aren't monster AAA titles that cost more than Avatar to make. Court documents filed by Activision revealed that Black Ops Cold War cost around $700 million to develop before marketing, despite, well, let's be honest, not really being that much different from any other COD games released in the last 10 years. In the past, studios could try to create a consistent roster of decent games. If one of them did well, that was great. If one of them flopped, that wasn't ideal, but it wasn't crippling. Today, even the biggest studios are kind of going all in on the success of their next release with very little margin of error if it doesn't work out. Now, to play devil's advocate a bit here, betting big is not totally irrational when one Fortnite can pay for 20 flops. But the problem is that everybody is making that same bet at the same time into the same fixed pool of player hours. The frustrating part is that when anybody actually funds the middle, it can still work. Expedition 33 was made by a core team of around 30 people for under $10 million, sold
33 developers
in its first 6 months, and swept the Game Awards. It obviously can work, but I guess you also need to actually make a good game, which capital investment alone can't guarantee. And even if it does, it's probably going to get ripped off anyway. So yeah, the third big issue is clearly one that is not unique to gaming. If you ever see a YouTube video that does well, you can be pretty sure that there will be 20 other videos that copy it in the coming months, because making an original YouTube video normally takes a fair amount of time and effort, and if it doesn't do well, it can cause serious problems. Copying a video is easy. It comes with some guarantee of success. That's the exact reason why I've decided to mix things up and steal the Smoothie King's talking points and thumbnail for this video. Now hopefully it goes without saying that I am joking. I will always leave a link in the description below, and we mostly discuss different things. But the point is, this clearly happens everywhere on YouTube as people just naturally follow basic incentives. The same is true 10 times over for video games. Any game that does well is going to be copied by dozens of people with tools that make basic game design relatively simple.
Nothing wrong with this, by the way.
This is especially the case with people porting paid indie games into Roblox for free with inbuilt microtransactions. Last summer, Peak, one of Steam's best-selling games of the month, got cloned on Roblox almost immediately. The copy pulled in 6 million visits in about 2 weeks, monetized with Roblox's own microtransaction system, while the studio that actually made the game got nothing. The game developers said that they would rather you pirate their game than play the microtransaction-riddled Roblox slop ripoff, which is a sentence an actual game studio felt the need to post in 2025. Roblox is running 132 million daily users and 31 billion hours of engagement every quarter, which the same Matthew Ball from earlier estimates is about the same engagement as Steam, PlayStation, and Fortnite combined. Now obviously this is bad, but the point is for large studios, it further means that they need to make games with some kind of moat around them to defend against obvious ripoffs. And the easiest one is to make something too complex to copy, and then integrate recognizable IP in addition to some guarantee of players being around for consistent online multiplayer. Now, it sounds bad, but it gets worse because this has literally already happened before. The last time this industry drowned itself in cheap copies of whatever it was selling, it was 1983, and the American home video game market fell by around 97% in 2 years.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm not exactly going to feel bad for the big gaming companies. They
Don't.
have made plenty of their own mistakes and have leaned into anti-consumer practices to compensate for their own failing. But
Yep.
it's not been an easy time to be a game studio either. Now, if you want to see this whole dynamic play out on a wider scale, go and watch this video next.